Welcome everyone, this is Andres Restart, and this time I'm going to be walking you through why I think Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely getting revealed next month, March of 2024. Now let me clarify, this is what I think. I do not know what is going to happen, and I could be wrong. I don't have 100% certainty here, but I am relatively confident that it's going to happen, and I suspect that by the end of the week, I will be even more confident that it's going to happen in March. And so today what I want to focus on is just sort of outlining my reasoning and thought process behind why I think March makes the most sense for when Nintendo should be revealing the successor to the Nintendo Switch, what we've been calling up till now the Nintendo Switch 2. But also on top of that, I would like to mention a few different interesting updates that speak to certain expectations of the features and overall elements of the Switch 2. And so I think that's going to be a little bit interesting and will also somewhat contribute to my thinking here on the reveal timing for this console. But before doing that, let me remind you all that we are aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers, perhaps by the time Switch 2 comes out. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and enjoy the ride as we talk about Nintendo every day. So as I explained in a live stream I put out a couple days ago, I heard that there was going to be a partner showcase and that there would also be a Switch 2 reveal in March. And I outlined how I was hinting and showcasing this in a few different videos leading up to when everyone else started talking about it about a week later. And so we've seen other places come out and say these same things, like Nate the Hate, Necrofelipe from Universe and Nintendo, Wood from Beat 'em Ups. And so when I first heard it, I was doubtful. Even though there's a good track record, I was skeptical because, well, there's a lot of different things going on. Now, Switch 2 reveal coming in March wasn't the part I was doubtful of, more so the partner showcase. But if everyone's hearing the same things, then I'm thinking, oh, there might actually be something to this. Now, it is possible that we're all hearing it from the same anonymous source, and that anonymous source is wrong. But with all these different places with good track records saying that they're hearing similar things, or the same things, I think that alone is compelling. But let's also speak on the point of there being a partner showcase. If the partner showcase happens this week, and that is unconfirmed at this point, but if for February what we get from Nintendo is not a big general Nintendo Direct, but something lesser, I think that further supports the idea that we are close to a reveal of Nintendo's next generation console. Throughout most of the Switch era, by this point we would have had some sort of major presentation from Nintendo. Usually, by February we have a major Nintendo Direct. And if not, we've at least had a Direct Mini. And so if we don't even get a Direct Mini, but a Direct Mini partner showcase, which is typically even less than that, I think that's very telling that the release slate for games on Switch just for Switch is getting so dismal that it's pretty darn evident that most developers are saving their projects for Switch 2, strongly suggesting that a reveal should be coming very soon. Of course, until the partner showcase is confirmed, this isn't super clear, but I will highlight that throughout last year I was talking about how, hey, the ratios between remasters and remakes is getting larger compared to brand new titles from Nintendo. So, based off my observations, I think we have been trending in this direction of less and less brand new content being put onto Nintendo Switch from Nintendo themselves. And also, with a lot of their brand new major games that came out last year, there wasn't DLC. The last big one was Fire Emblem Engage, which came out at the very beginning of the year, and all that DLC came out very quick. Tears of the Kingdom, Pikmin 4, Mario Wonder have been out for a few months already, and no DLC has been announced. This could be changed soon, but if we're getting a partner showcase, doesn't seem like it. And so it just also supports the idea that development is switching over to Switch 2, and projects for this new console need to be announced soon, meaning a reveal. But going beyond this, there is this expectation that Switch 2 is coming out this year. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I think this, and I am not going to talk about them in this video, because then we'd be talking for about 45 minutes straight, and I just don't think that's a good idea. However, I did put out a video where I showed a lot of different reasons why I think Switch 2 is coming out in 2024. So if you're interested, you can check that out. It's in the iCard, in the description, and also will be in the end screen so you can watch it after this one. But yes, I have this expectation with Switch 2 coming out in 2024. And with that expectation in mind, there's going to need to be some major releases. And one of those major releases is expected to be 3D Mario, as suggested by Andy Robinson from the few different sources that have told him that that's what's going to happen. But also, historically speaking, 3D Mario is coming out very early on for a system. Considering how long we've been waiting, I don't think this is a crazy expectation. So 3D Mario, in my opinion, is likely being positioned as a holiday title this year. But then also, historically speaking, we get a mainline Pokemon game in November. And so I also think that's coming out this year. Now that would be for Switch 1, because that's how Pokemon Company in general has handled things for that first year of a new console. But the Switch 2 is believed to be backwards compatible, which shouldn't come as any shock because historically speaking, whenever Nintendo has followed up a successful system, that is what they've done. And so Pokemon will still be relevant for the Switch 2, especially if there's a graphics patch. But beyond Pokemon and 3D Mario, there's also Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4, we saw job listings showing that they've been quality testing the game since early last year. The game's been in the quality testing stage or playtesting stage since early last year, and it's coming out in the second half of this year. That's about a 1.5-year window there. I think that's actually a pretty reasonable expectation if they were playtesting from early last year. Not to mention that we're already past the 5-year anniversary of when they announced the restart. So they've been working on this game for a long time. A second half of 2024 release is not crazy. But also, because they've been waiting such a long time, Nintendo hasn't shown it yet, at this point it seems pretty much like a foregone conclusion that Prime 4 will be a cross-gen title. So it'll be come out for Switch 1, so Nintendo can maintain their promise, but also so it comes out on Switch 2 and they maximize sales potential here. And this is going to be a fairly big release for Nintendo as well. So with these 3 different games, they likely need to be spaced out somewhat. So if Switch 2 is coming out this year, I don't think November or even October is the right expectation. I think at the very latest the system would be coming out September, so you have an opportunity for Metroid Prime 4, 3D Mario, and Pokemon to all have their spotlight moments. Pokemon tends to come out in November, I would see 3D Mario maybe October or September, and Prime would be in the other month depending on where Mario goes. December, some of you might suggest, well, what about December? And there could be something in December, but typically Nintendo won't do December for their major releases. There's exceptions, but in general, you're going to get out most of your major releases before December. So with this expectation in mind of how they should space out some of their major games that are expected to come out in the second half of the year, Switch 2 would have to come out at the latest September in my opinion. And when we look at the reveal to release window of the Nintendo Switch 1, it was from October 20th to March 3rd, which was 4.5 months. So if Switch 2 is revealed in March, that positions us for an August release time, assuming they have the exact same window, and they may not. But the point is, August is right next to September. It is close. So give or take a month or so, a reveal around March or April makes a lot of sense. And again, if there's no major direct this month, do you really think Nintendo would want to wait all the way until April until they start to showcase what their plans are for the rest of the year? I don't think so. But something else I think is worth noting here, and this brings me to some of the other major updates we've heard as of late, are these different rumors coming from other places about the Switch 2. It feels like we're reaching a boiling point here where more and more information is becoming privy to places with good sources of information, and so it's all just sort of suggesting that a reveal is about to happen. For example, Reuters has come out and said that they have heard that Nvidia is putting together a new custom chip for this year, and the strong implication is for Nintendo Switch 2, which is also expected for this year. Now this isn't crazy, this has been our expectation, but it's just another source out there corroborating what we've already been thinking, and it's nice to at least think about that we're going to be getting a customized chip that's been fine-tuned over years, and we're going to be seeing some of Nvidia's fantastic technologies, such as DLSS, which will greatly enhance games and performance. But on the note of enhancements, we've also gotten more rumors suggesting that there will be enhanced backwards compatibility for Nintendo Switch 2. So we've actually been talking about enhanced backwards compatibility on the channel for a little while, because we pay attention to Nashweedle. And so this is more information that's been coming out that we already heard about from Nashweedle. And so with Nashweedle, what's interesting about this is that this is another point in their favor of being a credible leaker. They haven't gotten anything wrong yet, but more and more of the things that they have been talking about are being corroborated by other places. And so that's just a side note to keep in mind for the future. But the point is, Universal Nintendo reported this, they popularized this story, but from a Pokemon podcast, PH Brazil was talking about how there's going to be enhanced backwards compatibility, and we'll be privy to this kind of information. So this is also exciting stuff. We've already talked about it before. There's the video, it'll be linked in the description below as well if you want to check it out. But it's another little thing of information leaking out suggesting that a reveal is about to happen. So it does fill me with a bit more confidence that March is when we're going to get this big reveal. But something else I think is worth noting here, going back to this whole idea of a summer release, is that we have seen some signs that a summer release may be happening. Now, there's a number of people that have predicted a summer release. Now, these are predictions, but they're predictions from people who would be privy to this kind of information if they so desired, such as Kid and Krista and Necrofelipe from Universal Nintendo. That's not necessarily a big point, it's just something that I think is worth noting. But something else that's interesting is that we did see that Fantasy Life was announced for summer, but it was also said that there is another console that has yet to have been determined or confirmed that this game is coming for, and they also said that they're not going to give us the specific release time in summer, even though they know when this is going to happen due to strategic reasons. And a lot of people feel that this is somewhat of an odd, interesting hint towards Switch 2 releasing in summer. And so the idea isn't that Fantasy Life is this big launch game for Switch 2, it's that it will be part of a relatively large lineup of games coming out in the launch window of Switch 2. So say Switch 2 comes out in August, and then Fantasy Life comes out either day one or a few weeks later, or even in September as a part of this big launch window. Third-party support is expected to be much greater on the Switch 2. I think Nintendo showed that with the format of Switch 1, it's a great environment for third-party games, and so going into Switch 2, I think we're going to be starting off with a bigger lineup than what we did with Switch 1 when it comes to third parties. And so if this is to be the case as well, that a whole bunch of third parties are coming over, as has been rumored, then a summer release to me makes the most sense. Late summer, so August or September, and if that's the case, based off how long we waited between the reveal and release of Switch 1, a March reveal is pretty reasonable, and it lines up with what a whole bunch of people with good track records are hearing. So right now, I think it's going to happen. But if we get a partner showcase this week, then I definitely think it's going to happen. But of course, nothing is for certain until it's officially confirmed. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.